measure y v something else. What is this? What's your number in your head for your pitching wedge? Okay. Next two shots, let's exaggerate the knees the most. Wide as you can get them before you start down. $135 with the 9. 40 with the 9. Yeah. Hey, really good. Great job. Now that felt like it was too much, maybe. Like a lot compared to normal, right? Okay. Now, okay. Good job. Okay. So same thing. Really try to feel like the knees get wide, almost like they're trying to go outside of your feet. Good job. There's a dot on that club face. Perfect. Oh, a little bit to the right, huh? Hands a little forward. Forward right now. Like it's set up. Push them. Okay, good. You want your hands just maybe in front of your left pocket. And I think we've got to keep our ideas of jaws, right? All right. Okay, take a look. Really, really good. Wider. Awesome. So much energy and power into this ball. Champ style. Okay. So I want to start taking a look a little bit at where you're hitting the ball on the club face. Sometimes it might hit the toe or the heel, and I want to really, hit it solid. But that's kind of a thing that it's like a pay attention thing, right? It's making sure that you're doing all these things, but you're trying to pay attention to the sweet spot hitting the ball. So let's hit 3 shots with the focus of trying to keep that sweet spot right behind the golf ball. Hands forward. More. A little more. Right there. Sweet spot. Right? So if you set up with the club face really open, show me that. What part of the club face is going to hit the ball if the face is really open? Yeah. And the face is closed. So when you set up to your shot and you have your hands in the middle of you, sometimes that has the face closed. But the more that you put your hands forward closer to this leg, it kind of squares the face up. Your sweet spot. So hands forward in front of the right leg, a little more. Good. And now knees wide. That was hit hard, wasn't it? Cool. Really cool. How far did that go? 160 carry. Okay. Wow, that's so cool. Back on a sec. Okay, let's keep hitting. Focus on really hitting the sweet spot. Go. Forward. Really good when you get your hands forward. So what if we went too far? Like, just put it more than you think that you need. Go. Just exaggerate it in the opposite direction. Push forward the most. Keep going, keep going, keep going. But keep the face straight. So all the lines on the bottom of the club should line up with the shaft still. So the more you push your hands forward, see how the face looks like it's going over there? Okay. Hit that shot. Sweet spot. Okay, 165 carry. One more time. Point it out to the right a little bit. Good. Good. So if you're going to hit a draw, where should the ball start? Right. To the right. And where you point the club face is where the ball is going to start. So if we're going to hit a draw, I kind of want it to look a little bit open to you. But with the hands forward, it's not open like, you know, taking a 7-iron and turning into a pitching wedge. So it's going to go the same distance. It's just pointing the face over here so the ball curves back. Okay? Forward, scoring lines matched up with the shaft from your view. Good. Let her fly. Go heavy. One more. Let's change clubs. How about the 5-iron? Hands forward, face points a little to the right, so it starts out there. Sweet spot. Big high draw that lands on the target line. So how far do you think that went? A good exercise in your feel right now. Oh. 173, 188. Okay, have a guess?
175.
Yep. 185. How about 86, 200? I know what I expected on the first shot. And hands forward. Good. Yeah. Now, each of those balls has been 5 yards from the target. That's 15 feet at about 180 yards. 15 feet from the target. Forward. Okay, face a little more right. And 5 yards from the target. Starts right, curves left. 170, 180. Same thing, 5 yards from the target. 202 total, 188 carry. So every so often, we're getting like a jump in 10 yards of carry. New Probionics instead of that one. I think it's called Clear. Well, carry. How heavy? Wide knees on this, okay? Still heavy? Oh.
Is that the button?
Oh, no.
No.
More hands, more. Face a little more open. Drawing lines in the shaft, trying to line up as straight. $180 carry, $190 total. Yeah. 75 carry. Okay. How about the 3-wood? Off the ground. So with the ball more forward, it's not going to feel as though that the hands are as far in front of the club head. But I always want your hands in front of your leg there. Okay, yes.
130, sorry, 230 carry.
Yeah. 260 carry, 280 total. That was very, very fast. And it ended up 7 yards to the left of your target, 20 feet from the hole at 270 yards. You know where that puts you on the PGA Tour? If you did that every time, first by a mile. Just for reference, Dustin's like 60 feet from the hole at 250 yards. Figure see if that happens again. This is the new 3-wood, right?
Yeah, this guy.
Lock, right? And the lock, what's it set on for your setting? A little higher than standard, so 14's at 15. I don't normally put the target at 300 for a fairway wood, but see what you got. Now, when you hit that club, like off the ground, what do you feel like? What kind of shot do you feel like hitting? What does it look like in your head when you have that club?
On a good shot, I think it gave a higher top.
High draw. Okay. So a high draw means we've got lots of loft, and if it's going to draw, it's got to start to the right. Okay. So let's get that club face pointed a little bit out to the right. Where did that hit the face? So again. Still fast, 103 miles an hour in your club speed. Very fast. So let's work the knee thing again. Hands forward, point the face out to the right so the toe stays back. Doing anything different there? Just hit a good one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Really good. Okay, could you show me a shot that starts left of the target line? And you're normally hitting it like 240, can you hit one 220? But I want the ball to start left of the target. I think you hit the spot one more time. So sometimes the sweet spot can get missed because the golfer doesn't quite know where it is. Because that's a big club head, right? It's got a weird face to it, so sometimes you just don't see it. So try to feel like that TaylorMade logo is on the just barely on the far side of the ball. There you go. Point the face a bit to the right. Still big draws. Okay. So if the ball's drawing too much, what's the first sign of too much drawing? What are we doing? What are we doing to making the ball draw? Yep. And in order to get the ball back, if we're swinging too far to the right, the face has to be closed, right? Okay, so set up one more time. And let's open the face more than normal. All right, push the hands forward. Okay, make sure you can see some of the face. Sometimes we go. All right, hit that one. Low in the face, right? Okay, that's it. Okay, so take it up to the top. Hold it up there. So stretch your downswing with the knees getting wide. Okay, hold it there. All right, I'm going to do something, and I want you to fight me, okay? All right, fight me. Fight me. Good, keep going. Fight me. Okay, start again. What did I do? How did you fight me? Okay, hit one like that. Practice one, all the way up. Knees and a twist. There you go. Feel weird? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to do the twist with a whole bunch of club speed too. I feel like you give it some speed, hit it hard. Straight right. Okay. Okay. Round again, huh? Let's come back to this. Can we hit a driver? Let's see if it's the same thing with the driver. Is that the T height? Okay.
High.
Or would you like it higher? Okay. Part of the face to back it.
Also, maybe.
High toe. Definitely was high on the face. So you had a 426 spin rate. You never see triple digits through. It's always 4. 2000 maybe is really low. 426. So that definitely hit a funky spot on the face. One more time. So we're going to go wide with the knees. Same thing? Yeah. $683. Wow. We're getting big draws, aren't we? And forward a bit. Can we bring the ball back in your stance of that? Widen the knees a little bit right here. you brought your feet closer together too. One more. Perfect. Another clap. That was the middle, right? Yeah. Sounded better. Stayed in the air longer. Okay. Ball a little more back. Okay. Okay. So, where should your ball position be with your driver? What's your idea? Inside your left foot. Okay, I agree with that completely. And how can we both be sure that it's actually there? Okay. So that would mean that your foot would be on this side of the stick, right? So go ahead and put your foot there. Okay, good. Don't move that foot. Where does that feel? Same spot as before? Like that much further back. Yeah. So before, you had it, when I asked you to move it back, you moved it back to here. So if it's that far forward, why do you think the ball was flying the way it was? Yeah, by the time the club gets here, the face is going to be closed, right? Like if you had it way back here, we'd hit the ball that way because the face is still open. That make sense? Okay, cool. So I like the idea of it being here. Let's just try and make sure that it's there. Different flight. Look at us. There we go. I was pumped, wasn't it? It sounded really good off the face, stayed in the air a bunch. Okay, so based on that one being one of our better ones, 150 ball speed, spin rate 2300, that's really good. Carry 250. So at that ball speed, we should be hitting it farther. So let's think about this for a second. Try and get smart. If the ball speed should make it go farther, and it's spinning really good and all that other stuff, what do you think the one thing is that we could adjust to make the ball go farther? Yeah. How do we do that with your club? We could do that. The up part of the swing will only gives us a small amount of extra height. Perfect. That left line before. So what makes the ball really get up is the loft. So let's check this. So 10.5 degree driver launching at 12 degrees. On the face. Let's try this one. How's that look? A little different. Yeah? Okay. So there's the sticker and the TaylorMade logo on that club head, right? So try and make sure that that stuff is right in the middle of this golf ball. So if it's paying attention to the sweet spot, it helps us hit it better. I didn't have it in the second. What do you feel with the club face being like that? Anything different? Launching higher, yeah, for sure. Low? Okay. So if you feel that the tee is low, and when it's teed up this high, you hit the top of the face, the reason for the lower tee is that's where you're bringing the sweet spot in. So if you want to tee it up higher, that's okay, but you've got to make sure that you bring the sweet spot back to the ball. Because sometimes the club's too close to the ground when you hit it. If the tee was any higher, you could go right underneath it. Okay, so again, just be aware of where it is. Keep the club head up so we deliver it to the sweet spot. Sounded good. Down. Toe. Okay, so it's your club. The ball's being hit there. There. So when the tee's that high and it hits like that, it goes really high because there's more loft there on the club than there is there. But that takes away all the spin. So that last one launched at 15 degrees, which is the highest one yet, but it's 700 spin. So that's telling me it's hitting like where the dot is. So can we start with the golf club like covered off the ground a little bit? Okay, hold it here. Did you feel like your front hip was higher than the back hip? There you go. Okay, now hit that shot.
To 40 carry, that's it. 242 carry.
Cover the club a little bit. That was hit well. How far did that go?
61 carry.
261. Okay. So 261 carry is pretty good. We had 2000 spin, 15 launch. You hit that way different. Okay. One more. Apply the touch, bring the sweet spot up there. Okay, work left hip a little higher. That was hit different. You hear the sound difference? 250 carry, 16 launch, not a lot of spin. So the not a lot of spin thing is very interesting. That could be a big advantage for you in order for hitting far. We go really wide with the knees, 'cause we haven't talked about that in a little bit. How the numbers look there? 6 yards carry?
Yeah.
Okay. .240 carry. Okay, so we've got 240 and 260 is our number, but the biggest thing that we've got is getting the sweet spot. It's hitting the middle of the face. So I think that the more that you could feel as though that you had the knees wider in your swing instead of them staying closer together, because when they're closer together, you kind of get a slide going. If we can keep them wider apart, you're going to get a little bit. I think you've hit some really big shots doing it well. I think you know what you're going to get from it. But let's put the exaggerations into the driver. Just remember about ball position, right? We like to creep it a little bit further forward. So good. Okay. Right. Can we play the ball more back in your stance? Good. Point the face off to the right to the touch. So it's going to start. Okay. Really wide knees. Okay. So when it comes to your tee height, I'd like to have a chat about that next time, like on Wednesday. Because I think it's teed really high and we keep it off of the face because of it. And that's, if you deliver the club fairly well into the ball, by changing the tee height because, you like that changes your swing a little bit. But I don't want to change it tomorrow because you're playing tomorrow, right? So in order for you to kind of make your driver kind of stay in play tomorrow, I want you to try to feel like, well, I don't know if you feel like you're hitting it higher or maybe hitting a fade, okay? But let's try a couple of those now and see how that works for you. But I think you know that we're trying to hit the sweet spot, so line it up and then have the face a little more open so it doesn't drop. If you were playing a golf tournament tomorrow, I'd probably ask you to hit 3-wood off the tee. Hit 3-wood pretty far, lots of speed. Off a different part of the face. Right? I'm going to get some stuff that lets us see where you're hitting the club face, because I think that's going to be part of it too. That's a good ball speed, a good launch, and a good spin because you hit the right spot on the face. Get the ball more back. Good. On the face, right? Club up, cover it, higher off the ground. There we go. Hit from there. That's different. So that might be something that we can consider if we keep the tee height the same. So I don't want to change it just because I know that's the way you like to do it. But if it's making us hit the ball too high on the face, we have to make an adjustment. It's either be the tee or something with the swing. I think that this might be easier. Tomorrow when you play, let's kind of monitor it and make sure that. Okay. So tomorrow, 12:30, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Match time. One, two.
Probably will end up having it done by the end of Feb.
Just in time for the new Code Chaos Adidas shoes.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Go to work today.
So still, where you work on driver next time, we didn't get to wedges this time, so we'll try to get to wedges. So long as the driver's good, but I want to fix that like as soon as we can. No one likes playing golf without hitting the driver also. Don't leave your clubs again? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, my pleasure.
All right.
See you
you
tomorrow
tomorrow.
afternoon.
Take care. Bye.
Okay.